This is the thing about dreams that's really beautiful, is that the result of a dream is that it causes you to dream something farther. My initial goal when I first started fighting was, I think I can have 10 fights. And then I wasn't even close to 10 fights when I came here and said, I think I want 50 fights. I thought that was going to be like the biggest, like, man, if I can accomplish 50 fights, that'll be it. And now that I'm at 40, I'm 10 away from what that goal was. And it doesn't make 50 any less interesting, but it's like, once you reach 50, then you're like, okay, on to 51. Like, you know, move to 100. If I get to 100, it's like, okay, you just keep going. It's not that setting the goal is unimportant. I think that it's just putting a landmark somewhere, you know, like seeing a tree in the distance and knowing you're going to get at least that far, but once you get there, you just keep walking. In violence, there's a victim, and in a combat sport where you've both spent all your time preparing for this moment, that to me is not violence. There's incredible respect in that process, and that doesn't mean that it's, you know, devoid of brutality. My experience of Muay Thai, when I'm training and Den is beating the crap out of me and I get back up and I can see his respect grow for me when I get up, there is nothing violent about that. Like, it's an increase of strength. And so something that is constantly decreasing my fear, it's taking away my fear every time I do it. There's nothing else in my life that does that, and violence is the opposite of that. It's not about perfection, it's not about your record, it's about adjusting from piece to piece, from game to game, to see what your holes are and how you want to change. I find it kind of funny that in America, and I don't know where it comes from, I assume it comes from boxing or something, but this undefeated fighter being the pinnacle, you know, that like Mayweather is the most amazing fighter ever. It's strange because it's not the case of all American sports, and it's not the case of international sports, that you completely lose interest in a team when they lose. But when it's an individual game, when it's a fighter, for some reason it becomes a value judgment of that person rather than part of the process of doing what it is that they do.
Move inside, okay? If you move, you need.
It would be much more beautiful if you had, you know, a collection of experiences rather than numbers on paper, which is not to say that persons who are undefeated don't have beautiful experiences. I just think that when trying to express to someone who doesn't understand fighting what it is to fight, to have this many wins versus this many losses tells you so little about what the experience of fighting is. While my goal, like my narcissistic goal, is to get 50 or 100 fights, really my main goal is to get other people to dream that dream and to follow that dream. And God, I hope it's bigger than mine too. Like, I hope that when I'm like, I don't know, 50 years old, looking back, there's going to be some chick who's got like 200 fights in Thailand or something. Or at least some girl who's like, God, Sylvie did nothing. It's like back in the day when you could only get 50 fights in a year. Yeah.